Fauci and Francis Collins wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post and said that this was a flu risk worth taking, that doing this dangerous research could cause a pandemic, but that it was a risk worth taking because we would be prepared for that pandemic.
Prepared with vaccines.
And so it creates a weapon, a pandemic that has never been seen by man before, and arguably carries more risk than it carries benefit. And Fauci was almost evangelical about this research to the point that it was suspicious. And scientists like Richard Ebright and others, the Cambridge Working Group, I mean, the debate started almost directly after Anthrax and Fauci began doing this research. And yet Fauci did and amassed so much influence and power in that system that he was able to shut down every critic. And there were a lot of close calls and there were a lot of red flags, after Anthrax and before Ebola. Fauci supported the engineering of avian flu in 2011 to make it airborne. It happens with pigs. It happens with other intermediate species. And a scientist supported by Anthony Fauci used gain-of-function techniques in order to hone the virus to be airborne in humans. So this was celebrated by Fauci as a victory of science. There was a big debate on whether the results of this study should even be published. They were published. And Fauci and Francis Collins, who was also the NIH director at the time of the pandemic and very much part of the whole problem that we faced, they wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post and said that this was a flu risk worth taking, that doing this dangerous research could cause a pandemic, but that it was a risk worth taking because we would be prepared for that pandemic.
Prepared with vaccines.